This seems like an ideal time to revisit the biggest swing from this offseason. Because I don't know if the Pirates would have been able to accomplish some of the other things they did right this winter had they not made the Brandon Lowe for Mike Burrows trade. And after the Pirates beat Mike Burrows and the Astros on Tuesday, in part because Brandon Lowe hit a 3-run homer, I think it's safe to say this is one of the better trades we have seen in a long, long time. Good morning and welcome to Offbeat here on North Shore 9 presented by FanDuel. My name is Alex Stumpf and this is a daily look at your Pittsburgh Pirates. I want to go back to this winter for a little bit and how coming into the winter the Pirates were pretty willing to share that they were going to be aggressive. The phrase I heard in the winter meetings was wait until we add hitters to this lineup, plural. And they did. But up to that point, whenever I was told that quote, their winter had been quiet. They did not make a major league signing until the winter meetings, and that was Gregory Soto. To that point, their winter was shooting for the moon for Kyle Schwarber, and they did make a legitimate offer. It was a legitimate run. It always just felt like he was going to go back to the Phillies. But hey, it was aggressive, is what they needed to do. And Jorge Polanco, who they really liked, but then the Mets just had a catastrophic winter meetings, and they threw $20 million a year at him. And I like Polanco as a player, but he's not a $20 million per year type of player. So the Mets overpay. And it's like, okay, two of the big free agent targets they were after, they're 0 for 2. And they are in desperate need of infield help and a left-handed bat. And it was at the winter meetings that I started to hear like, hey, Brandon Lowe's a possibility. And it's like, okay, that's something. I don't know how they make that trade because they had major league pitching to trade, and that's something the Rays didn't really need. It's like, I just don't know how this lines up. 3-team deal comes together. The Astros overpay for Mike Burrows. And I do not mean that as a slight on Burrows, someone who I liked whenever he was an A-ball. Someone who I think is going to have a good major league career. But at the end of the day, whenever the trade was made, he had less than 1 full year of major league service time. He was not ranked as a top 10 prospect going into the year. He had a Tommy John surgery already on his, already in that right elbow. And it's like, the Astros really gave up 2 of their top prospects for that type of player. He wasn't considered. If it would have just been a year earlier, they could have had him for far less than what they paid. He had a good year with the Pirates in 25, but not a year that I think demanded like, yeah, he is going to be commanding this type of trade. And that was all the Pirates had to give up right off the bat. It looked like the type of trade they needed to make. The type of trade they tried to make in 2025 and didn't really succeed. 2025 winter, the Pirates wanted to make more trades. They were able to complete the Horwitz trade, and which is aged wonderfully for the Pirates. But that wasn't always supposed to be, their big move of the winter. They thought they were going to make a couple trades. None of them came to fruition. So to be able to complete a big trade like that, a win-now trade like that, was huge. Ryan O'Hearn and Brandon Lowe knew each other pretty well in the AL East. O'Hearn said at his press conference, hey, whenever they signed Lowe, it raised my eyebrow. Pirates became a lot more of a serious potential landing spot for him. So I don't know if the Pirates get Ryan O'Hearn without this Brandon Lowe trade. So that by itself, I would say, very good trade for the Pirates. Before even the year starts, because they wanted to add hitters, left-handed hitters. There you go. That trade not only added a reigning all-star, it brought in another one through free agency. And that wasn't the only part of this trade. Like Jake Mangum, 4-hit game on Tuesday. Mason Montgomery has been one of the few productive relievers out of the bullpen, and he has such a high ceiling because he throws so dang hard. But Lowe was the headliner, and Lowe has been the guy who has made the greatest impact on this team. He had a 3-run home run on Tuesday. It was his 15th of the season in his 55th game with the Pirates. Out of curiosity, I went to StatHead on Baseball Reference. I'm like, how many other Pirates have hit 15 home runs in their first 55 games with the team? One other, Garrett Jones in 2009. In the history of the organization, Brandon Lowe is off to the second best power start. And it's been everything. He's been everything they needed him to be. Yes, the veteran voice. Yes, what he's done defensively to grow as a player. Those points, hammer him home. Those are great. But just look at the pure offense. We're going to take this down to the most rudimentary way to look at a baseball player. Let's just look at the back of the baseball card. 15 home runs in 55 games. That is what this lineup needed. This past homestand, I tweeted out, it was against the Cubs. You know, Pirates had a couple runners on, and he just launched a game-tying home run. And it's like, you know what? I know Don Kelly preaches that 1 through 9, pass the baton mindset with the offense. It's what every coach should want from it. But that was what this offense hadn't had for years. They hadn't had that guy outside of, maybe O'Neal Cruz and, Brian Reynolds, that whenever they were up with a couple runners on base, it's like, this could be 3 runs. The old Earl Weaver, you win games with pitching and 3-run homers. Well, Brandon Lowe is doing the second half of that. And we know the Pirates have pitching. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back.
This episode is brought to you by IQ Bar, our exclusive snack hydration sponsor. IQ Bar protein bars, IQ Mix hydration mixes, and IQ Joe mushroom coffees are the delicious, low-sugar, brain and body fuel you need to win your day. The Ultimate Sampler Pack is a great way for you to try all IQ Bar products and flavors. You get 9 IQ bars, 8 IQ Mix sticks, and 4 IQ Joe sticks. All IQ Bar products are clean label certified and entirely free from gluten, dairy, soy, GMOs, and artificial ingredients. With over 20,000 5-star reviews and counting, more people than ever are fueling their lifestyles with IQ Bar's brain and body boosting bars, hydration mixes, and mushroom coffees. The Ultimate Sampler Pack includes all 3. My personal favorites so far have been the almond butter chip and the iced tea lemonade hydration mix. It's just really full of flavor. I love starting my day with it, and I couldn't imagine starting my day with anything else other than IQ Bar products. Right now, IQ Bar is offering our podcast listeners 20% off all IQ Bar products, including the Ultimate Sampler Pack, plus free shipping. To get your 20% off, text MLB to 64,000. That's MLB 64000. Message and data rates may apply. See terms for details.
In the history of the Pirates, there have only been 6 players to hit 15 home runs and get the majority of their reps that season as a second baseman. You got Neil Walker, you got Josh Harrison, you got Bill Mazeroski, George Granham, 1930, great offensive year just all around, and Warren Morris in 1999. And oh yeah, Brandon Lowe in 55 games. I've seen so much speculation and people being like, just write him a blank check, keep him in Pittsburgh. And yeah, I'm not going to say you let him walk. Enjoy the ride right now. Because I think there's a real chance he's going to hit 30, maybe flirt with 40 home runs at second base while providing what has been good defense so far. This type of players usually get a pretty penny out on the open market. I'm not going to cast any gloom and doom here. I'm not worried about an extension. I'm not worried about the future with him. You have to worry about the present, because that's what this trade was. This was a trade that for the first time in a long time was made solely with the mindset of winning this year. I mean, when was the last time they made a trade like that? The trade deadline in 2024 was it was a nothing burger, looking back on it now. But even then, the players they acquired, IKF, Brian De La Cruz, they had years of team control remaining. 2018, Chris Archer, he had years of team control remaining. That's why they had to give up such a haul. It was like we think we might be able to compete in 2018, but this is really, the next couple years also. That's just as valuable here. This was the move that says to the clubhouse, you are good enough to win this year. We believe that. Here's proof of that belief. So many times, the free agents that they sign were, these guys on 1-year mercenary contracts. And what does that show you? It shows you a player that couldn't find a better offer somewhere else. Brandon Lowe is going to get a great offer from either the Pirates or another club. Actually, he's going to get great offers because he is a great baseball player. And you need great baseball players to become a great baseball team. He has been that. That trade, maybe in a couple years, we look on it a little differently. If Mike Burrows is shoving and he becomes that guy the Astros think he can be, the guy that they gave up those 2 incredibly highly touted prospects to the Rays to get. And, Brandon Lowe is either not a Pirate or, well in his mid-30s, potentially at a declining age. It's like, man, Burrows would look good in that rotation. You can't look too far in the future with that. This was a win-now trade for a team that needed to get better desperately. So yeah, it would be great to have Brandon Lowe long-term, but that wasn't the point of the trade. The point of the trade was to win now. And as it stands right now, Pirates are second in the National League Central, in large part because of that trade. We're going to see how it ages in the future. But as of right now, it looks great. And Tuesday was a reminder of why this was one of the rare times we have seen the Pirates be aggressive on the trade market, and it has paid off. Thank you so much for listening to Offbeat here on North Shore 9 presented by FanDuel. If you haven't already, be sure to subscribe wherever you find a podcast, or check us out on YouTube if you want to see my smiling face. Thank you so much for listening. We'll talk again tomorrow.
All right, that wraps up this episode of North Shore 9. Thanks so much for tuning in, whether you're listening on the podcast or catching us on YouTube. If you enjoyed the show, please give this video a thumbs up, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. It really helps us grow. And if you're listening on the podcast, a quick review goes a long way in helping others find the show. Plus, be sure to tell a friend about us. There's always room for more here in the NS9 community. And for those looking to support us a little more, consider joining our Patreon, become an MVP member, and get exclusive perks while helping us continue to bring you more of the Pirates content you love. Thanks again for all your support, and let's go Bucks.